Welcome to CCFR's Canada Downrange. Sport shooting is the most exciting and least covered sport in Canada. Come with us as we travel across our great nation to discover the coolest events, amazing locations, and the most interesting people. Today on CCFR's Canada Downrange, we head back to the General Vokes Range in Chilliwack, BC to watch the competitors at the BCRA Precision Rifle Championships. Then we will spend time with Bill Crosby, an experienced gunsmith who has had a long career customizing ammo and firearms, also known as wildcatting. Chilliwack, BC was the beautiful backdrop for another competition held by the BCRA. We head back to the General Vokes Range for the Precision Rifle Championships.
Target up. Target up, left and right. Yeah, that was good. Targets up.
With a course of fire spread over 3 days, competitors are tested at varying distances and external challenges, such as shooting from a rooftop, as well as moving targets, some as far away as 600 meters.
Is that rodeo? No.
I like your idea.
Shot by teams of 2, the shooters and spotters swap roles during each match, and the results are given for both the team and the individual.
I love shooting all the guns, no matter rifle, pistol, shotgun, AR. I do all the stuff, not only PRS, I'm doing 3 guns, everything.
In this competition, making the fewest number of mistakes will determine the winners of the day.
One 3-minute exposure.
Shoulder to shoulder, RPD. So you have 2 rounds in the gun, 2 rounds in him, 2 rounds in him, and 1 round wherever if you got them all done.
Drawing competitors from across Canada and the U.S., it is a showcase of top-tier marksmen from many different walks of life, including police, military, and civilians.
It's a great opportunity for a bunch of people to come out and work together, and the camaraderie that's involved is absolutely phenomenal between one team and another and one individual and another.
Well, you think that
1,
This is why targets were
2,
popping out.
3, 4, 5, 6. Paint above the concrete, paint above the concrete, nice and high. Targets down! Targets down!
Experienced shooters will find themselves challenged by the opportunity to be tested on a broad variety of simulations unique to this venue.
That was good,
Remember, if you don't stand up for your own ability to own and use firearms, who will? Join the CCFR or donate right now at www.firearmrights.ca.
Participants had their skills tested against the elements, the mental challenges, as well as other competitors in the hotly contested race to be the best in Western Canada.
I've been a policeman for 21 years, and I also teach the Canadian Firearm Safety course on the side, probably for the last 5. You know, I've always lived in small spots, always hunted, fished, lived in the outdoors with my dad. The guns that you're going to see out here today, all these rifles, these are non-restricted, they're a sporting arm. Get a gun safe. Don't just rely on a gun lock. Make your guns as safe as possible. We don't have the protection in Canada to use our firearm to defend our castle. So these people know that, so they're taking, this is something they want to do for sport or hunting. They don't want somebody stealing it. They don't want their kids, their family members to have access to it. It's a lifestyle. You've spent, some of these guys, tens of thousands of dollars investing into different guns and ammunition and sporting events, right? And an average guy here probably spent $500, $600 just to come here for the 2 days to shoot.
This weekend.
Just this weekend. And we gladly do it because that's our sport. It's what we enjoy.
At the end of the day, the BCRA put on another safe, fun, world-class event at the spectacular General Vokes Range for a large group of avid gun enthusiasts.
My name's Rod Giltaka. In case some of you guys don't know me, I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights. The CCFR is actually a public relations organization, and a public relations organization for firearm owners has never existed in Canada before 2.5 years ago. The whole point of this show is to humanize gun owners, to show the rest of Canada who we are. We're trying to show that gun owners are the mechanic that fixed your car on 1 day's notice because you really needed it. It's the dentist working on your teeth. It's the doctor saving your life in an ER.
For more information on the BCRA and the Precision Rifle Championships, please go to bcprecisionrifle.com.
Your pro tip today, we're going to talk, well, we got some pros, but we're going to talk about how often do you clean your guns, and I guess that depends on the type of gun you have and what you expect out of it. I've got Ryan Stacey and I've got Graham Foote here. So I guess we'll start, I'm just going to let you guys talk. So how often should I clean my gun, and what kind of gun are you referring to?
Well, I think we're going to talk mainly about rifles because that's kind of what we do. We're not so much a handgun guys. With handguns, I've always sort of cleaned it after shooting it, but I guess a handgun guy can tell you a little bit better than I could. But as far as rifles go, there's a few different types of rifles, and they all sort of fall in different categories. So for me, with service rifles, I will clean the, with an AR-15, I'll clean the bolt carrier and the bolt, and that is it. I'll go through a whole month of competition or more, shooting every day, thousands of rounds in a week, and I will never pull the bore through. If the rifle is shooting well, let it shoot well. Don't go in there and start disturbing everything and making things change inside the bore. But make sure the parts function flawlessly. Now, that can be the same for precision rifles, where it's shooting really well, so don't pull the bore. Don't do anything with the bore, but clean out the chamber and make sure the chamber has got no stuff in it. But it's different for other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with precision rifle for me. If the rifle's shooting good, I tend not to clean it. I'll do a clean before the match season starts and put 40 or 50 rounds through just to kind of foul it, make sure it's shooting properly, get my zeros and everything like that. And then as long as it's shooting fine throughout the season, I don't actually clean the bore at all until after the season's over.
Just make sure the parts that need oil have oil.
Yeah. 22s are a bit different. I find that I like to run them really dirty. My 1022 and my Savage, neither one of them really shot well until I had about 400 or 500 rounds through it. Got a nice load of lead in the barrel, and it really tightened it up. Anecdotally speaking, of course. I mean, I don't know if there's any science behind that, but that's generally how I run my 22s.
So it's like a precision 22, right?
This is an out-of-the-box Savage Mark II. It's
precision oriented.
Okay, but now with rimfire, it fouls the moving parts quite a bit, no?
Yeah, I mean, 22 ammo is pretty dirty depending on what kind you get. I still haven't found an issue with it yet. I mean, if it starts jamming up the bolt or jamming up the semi-auto portions of it, then yeah, I'll take it apart and see what's going on. But
yeah, I tend to find with my 22 bolt guns, the first place that malfunctions is usually the extractor. That little groove in the barrel face that the extractor hooks into around the rim usually gets clogged with junk, and that gets pulled out. So like I said, keep all the moving parts lubed and clean, but the actual bore, if it's shooting good, let it shoot good.
Yeah, well, in my experience, I tell students, they say, well, how often should I clean my gun? I said, well, it depends what you expect from it.
Yeah.
When it comes to handguns, if, let's say you're in law enforcement or you're military and you expect that handgun to shoot no matter what, your life depends on whether that thing discharges when you pull the trigger,
yeah,
I advise you to shoot it or to clean it after you finish shooting it every single time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of moving parts in these things. And being semi-auto specifically, you need all those moving parts to go. And when you have buildup on these parts, it actually changes the dimensions of the parts.
Sure.
So for handguns, that's what I would recommend personally. For rifles, I don't know. I clean it every time just as a default. Probably a waste of effort. It sounds like a waste of effort you know, because of what you're telling me.
Well, it's sort of the same things we were talking about before. If it makes you feel better and you feel good and you're going to shoot better, then hey, clean it every time.
Yeah.
But for me, on precision type equipment, if you pull the barrel, you're probably going to shift the point of impact a little bit. If you clean it too deeply, you can pull out all the fouling and the copper and everything that's in there that sort of not tightens everything up, but makes it shoot well. And then you're back to ground zero again. And
because your zero might be off now because you've changed, even though microscopically changed the dimensions of the...
Yeah, let's put it this way. I had one of my service rifles that I hadn't cleaned for probably 2 or 3 years as far as pulling the bore goes. And it started to shoot badly, so I figured maybe I should strip the copper out. After I stripped it out, I put the scope back on, re-zeroed, or didn't re-zero, but went to re-zero, and it was 8 feet high at 100 meters, just by stripping all the copper out of the bore. So it was like, wow.
Substantial. On a lesser scale, the last time I cleaned, I did a deep clean on my precision rifle. The group size opened right up, and I thought I would have to rework a load before a match, but after about 40 or 50 rounds, it tightened right back up. So a fouling of the barrel really seems to work for the rifles that I've got, at least.
I think it stabilizes everything a little bit.
Well, that's really interesting information because I actually haven't heard anything like that before.
No.
So yeah, that's awesome. So hopefully that was useful. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Remember, if you don't stand up for your own ability to own and use firearms, who will? Join the CCFR or donate right now at www.firearmrights.ca.
We are in Langley, British Columbia at Poko Military. My friend Paul got involved in an estate sale which contained a whole lot of custom ammunition and a lot of custom firearms. So let's go check it out. Okay, Paul, how'd you get all this stuff?
Okay, so what happened was there was a gentleman on the island that he's 97 now, and he's been doing this type of thing all his whole life. And his grandson approached us with the idea that he wanted to liquidate all these ammunition and firearms. So we went to the island and we struck a deal with the guy, and here we are. Now we have all the stuff to sort, and it's going to take us a couple of months to sort it all out and move it.
Poko Military has a diverse list of services including new and used firearm and ammunition sales, all types of gun repairs, and they even have a vintage machine from the 50s that prints personalized dog tags.
Look at this thing. This is crazy, and the recipe is all right in there. Ruger 6mm BR. Looks like a short 308. .308 BR. What the heck is this? Well, there's your 308, except tiny. .44 Remington. That's pretty cool. Remington 788. That's a neat little cartridge. That's a really neat little thing. I wonder what you use that for. That's super lightweight too. 222 Deuce with a 246 neck. Savage 222. Okay.
As his grandson said, he started when he was 6 years old, but we take that as a little bit of a joke. But he's been doing it all his life. In his house, he had a basement that was turned into a workshop, and he had a lathe and drill press, etc. And he would his favorite thing was target shooting.
So, Bill, you've been a gunsmith for a while, hey?
Quite a while, yep.
More than 5 years?
More like 50.
And you're a shooter yourself, though,
yes.
Correct? What kind of shooting have you been involved in?
I've been involved in trap shooting, skeet shooting, sporting clays, bench rest to a very minor degree, but mostly what they call F-class, which is sandbags, bipod, bench rest type of shooting at various distances.
High precision shooting.
Fairly much, yes. .222 is a very old cartridge. It was one of the smaller .22 calibers that they used for bench rest shooting many years ago. After that came the NATO cartridge, which was the .223 or 5.56 in metric. That became very popular, and the .223, or the .222, I'm sorry, and the .222 Magnum, they much went by the wayside. So they haven't used those for quite a number of years. Matter of fact, I don't even have a reamer for one.
After checking out the custom ammo, Rod asked Bill to explain about wildcatting.
Can you explain what wildcatting is?
Wildcat is something out of the ordinary, where you take a standard cartridge and you modify it to your liking. And therefore, it is no longer a standard cartridge made by the manufacturer. It's a Wildcat cartridge, just like anything else that's made to your specifications. Your .223, we'll take that for example. They make a .223 Wild, which is a good thing, but the guy's name is actually Bill Wild, and he's from the States, and he worked on those .223 cartridges for years to perfect them. They're very popular. The .223 cartridge is amazing in itself for such a little tiny cartridge. We've shot those things out to 800 yards.
Great, thank you very much, Bill. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Okay,
My
thanks.
pleasure for sure.
To find out about Poko Military and the goods and services they provide, please go to pokomilitary.com.